Hi everyone, my name is Kate. Welcome back to my wondernetting channel, and today I'm gonna show you how to crochet trending bonnet. The main thing of this bonnet that you can wear it as a regular hat or as hat with a scarf. It's very convenient, especially for cold winters with strong winds. You can also tie a stylish bow, making it even cuter. These bonnets are trending right now, especially with long ties, so you can make a bow, and especially in hot red color. Just looking at it, you can feel the Christmas spirit. It's super easy and quick to crochet, and you'll be able to finish it in one day. Also take note that this bonnet is a great Christmas gift idea. I'll also show you how to turn this bonnet into balaclava if you don't want long ties. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video and leave your comment, because when I see your likes, your comments, it inspires me a lot. We will need 3 skeins of yarn in 50 grams 170 meters, or 2 skeins if you want to crochet it without long ties. I'm gonna use cashmere yarn, but you can use wool, acrylic, whatever you want. I ordered this one from Wool Club, and I'll leave the link to their website and to this yarn in the description below the video. And you can get 5% off to all of their products with my code wondernetting, so be sure to check it out. Also, we'll need hook 5mm, scissors, needle and tape measure. Before we start, I will draw a sketch. I need to decide on the height of the bonnet. Mine will be 21 centimeters. You can make it taller if you want, in which case it will cover your neck completely. We will decide on the width as we go along with crocheting. The width of the ties will depend on the width of the ribbing at the bottom, so please decide right away how wide you want the ties to be. And the wider you want the ties to be, the higher or longer your bonnet should be, because in other case it will cover your face and not your neck. I will start with chain of 36. I'm adjusting the length like this, keeping in mind that during crocheting it will slightly reduce this height. We need to start measuring it roughly from the corner of the hat, at the highest point of the bra. I'm not stretching the chain too much, as the crocheting will make it shorter. So yarn over on the hook and insert it into the second loop from the hook, but twist a chain and insert it into the back loop of this loop. It's like a little bump. Grab the yarn, pull it out, you have 3 loops on the hook, and the first loop pull through 2 loops on the hook like this. It's half double slip stitch. Then yarn over again, insert the hook into the next little bump. Grab the yarn, pull it out, you have 3 loops on the hook, the first loop pull through 2 loops on the hook like this. It's the second half double slip stitch. So the main part of the bonnet we're gonna crochet with half double slip stitches, and the ribbing just with slip stitches. Right now continue crocheting with half double slip stitches until you have left that number of loops that you want for ribbing. In my case it's 10 loops. The first row is not super comfortable to crochet, but the next rows will be much easier. If you want to ask me, can you crochet it with different stitches? Of course you can. I recommend you to crochet either with single crochet or maybe even half double crochet, but for the ribbing choose the different stitch like single crochet if you're gonna crochet the main part with half double crochet. I put a marker on the 10th loop from the other side, and these 10 loops will be the ribbing. The loops for the ribbing I continue crocheting just with slip stitches. Insert the hook into the loop, grab the yarn, pull it out and crochet first loop into the second loop. It's a regular slip stitch, the first loop into the second loop, and crochet like that until the end of the chain. I finished the first row, and as you can see it's the same height as I wanted, 21 centimeters. For the second row, start with chain 1, turn your work, and from the second loop from the hook through the back loop only, we continue crocheting our ribbing. Insert the hook and crochet 10 loops with slip stitches. 2, then through the back loop again, 3 through the back loop, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. On the 10th, put marker again, so you will know here starts the ribbing. Then yarn over and again through the back loop only, continue crocheting with half double slip stitches until the end of the row. The last loop, then chain 1 and turn your work. This is what we should have. Again, yarn over, insert the hook into the second loop from the hook through the back loop only, and crochet with half double slip stitches until you reach the marker. From the marker until the end, continue crocheting with only slip stitches. And don't forget about the last loop right here. If you have 10 loops for the ribbing, it should be 10 loops. So for now that's all. Chain 1, turn your work and repeat the same from the second loop from the hook, crochet with slip stitches, 10 loops, then put a marker on the 10th and continue crocheting with half double slip stitches until the end of the row. And we need to crochet the same way 21 rows in total. And how to count the rows? One row is the braid itself, the next row is between the braids, next row of the braid, the next row between the braids. Actually, the crocheting itself is very simple, and I think the whole bonnet can be crocheted in about 3-4 hours, so be sure to give it a try. I haven't finished my 21 rows yet, but this is how it looks right now. And here I have 21 rows, and you can see that it completely covers the side of my head, so I can stop here and start crocheting the back part. Even if you're unsure whether to stop, just remember how many rows you've crocheted so far, as we'll need to crochet exactly the same second part. And also we need to leave the space for the ribbing around the face, and the back part itself can be either wide or narrow. It's if you don't know whether to stop or not. The width right now is 13.5 centimeters and the height 21 centimeters as I wanted. And to count the rows, the braid itself 1 row, then the space between the braids, the braid between the braids, and so on. I stopped at the bottom, so we need to crochet the same way to the top, 10 slip stitches, then the rest ones half double slip stitches. By the way, right now you can place the second marker on this row because we started crocheting the back part, and this will make it easier to count how many rows we've crocheted for the back. I've reached the top, and right now we need to continue crocheting from the other side. Right here, we'll be crocheting 2 sides. Yarn over and we need to insert the hook into the next row. It's the braid row. Insert the hook right on top's braid into the center. Grab the yarn and make half double slip stitches. Then between the braids, the same way into the top loop, half double slip stitch. Then again the braid into top braid, then again between the braids, into the top loop right here. It doesn't actually matter where you insert the hook, but it should be between the braids. And the next one into the braid, and again between the braids, and so on until the end of this side. And the last row into the top braid. Now we continue crocheting exactly as we did before, but on both sides, and at the bottom crochet 10 stitches for the ribbing as well. Chain 1, turn your work, insert the hook into the second loop from the hook through the back loop, and continue crocheting with half double slip stitches. On the corner we don't crochet anything unusual, just keep crocheting. And like this we need to crochet 18 rows in total. Here are my 18 rows for the back part, and it also reaches the corner of the brow on the other side of my head. It slightly tightens at the bottom, which is normal as the bonnet should fit snugly around the neck, and now we need to crochet the same side part as we did at the beginning. From the marker I have 18 rows. We need to finish at the bottom, and now you can chain 1 and cut the yarn. About the measurements, the side part is 13.5 cm and the whole part is 22.5 cm. And the ribbing right now is 15 cm. Right now crochet the same way the second side part as we crocheted at the beginning. My second part is ready and I didn't cut the yarn. Place it like this. We will sew it to the other side. And right now leave a longer thread, cut the yarn, because we will sew it with a regular needle. On one end we have here the braid, insert the needle into the front loop of this braid and pull out the thread. Then insert the needle into the next front loop, right here, and into the first front loop of the first stitch from the other side. So it's like the previous loop. Then into the next front loop from one side, but into the previous one where we just pulled the yarn from. Next loop, but from the other side it's the previous loop where we just pulled the yarn from. Next loop, but the previous from the other side. Again the next loop, but the previous from the other side. Like this we need to sew all the edge. This way the seam will be invisible. As I remember correctly, this stitch called knitted stitch. Next loop, but into the previous one from the other side. Again next loop, but into the previous one from the other side. So continue sewing the same way. And as you can see, the seam is invisible. On the top part the same way, but insert the needle into each row from the side part and into each stitch from the back part. Next row, but the previous stitch from the other side. Next loop, but the previous row from the other side. And this is what you should have when you're all done with sewing. Right now we need to make the ribbing around the face and the ties. If you want to make it like balaclava, I suggest you to crochet additional ribbing, the same 10 loops for ribbing, and sew it to the two edges of the bonnet. But it will be much easier if you crochet an additional ribbing when you work on the side part, so you don't have to crochet a full row. Just continue crocheting the ribbing. After the ribbing, chain 1, turn your work, and continue crocheting just only the ribbing. To crochet the ribbing around the face, make a starter loop and insert the hook into the first stitch on the ribbing, right here, but through the back loop only. Pull out the loop and make chain of 6 or as many as you want. From the second loop from the hook, start crocheting with half double slip stitches. Right now I'm showing you how to crochet it with single crochet, but later I decided to switch it to half double slip stitches. The crochet process exactly the same, just change the stitches. So you should have 5 stitches. Now insert the hook into the next stitch through the back loop only, like this, and make a slip stitch. Like this. Then insert the hook into the next loop through the back loop and make slip stitch again. Then turn your work without any chains of air loops. Insert the hook into the third loop from the hook through the back loop only and crochet 5 half double slip stitches. Right now I'm showing you single crochet, but you crochet with half double slip stitches. And the last loop in each row we're gonna crochet by 2 strands. So our edge will be straight. Chain 1, turn your work. From the second loop from the hook, start crocheting 5 half double slip stitches through the back loop only. Don't forget about the last stitch, it hides right here. Insert the hook into the next loop, make a slip stitch. Again into the next loop, make a slip stitch. Turn your work without any chains, insert the hook into the third loop from the hook and continue crocheting the ribbing. The last stitch, crochet by 2 strands. Then chain 1, turn your work, and from the second loop from the hook through the back loop, start crocheting the same way. Insert the hook into the next loop, make slip stitch, into the next loop, make slip stitch, turn your work, and from the third loop from the hook, crochet again. So this way we need to crochet the ribbing all around the face. On the top part, the same way, insert the hook either into the braid or between the braids. For each tie, make chain of 120 and crochet 10 rows with half double slip stitches. The length of my tie is 100 centimeters or 1 meter. Remember that they will stretch and may stretch a lot if you're gonna tie the bow. This is how the bonnet looks with ribbing around the face. To sew the tie, I insert the needle by 2 strands of the braid from one side and from the other side. Then again from the other side, but also into the next row, from one side and from the other side. Again by 2 strands from one side and by 2 strands from the other side. Like this. Again into the same braid from one side and also into the next row, from one side and from the other side. And sewing the same way until the end. And all we have left to do is to hide all the ends, make a knot around the stitches, cut the yarn, and our bonnet will be ready. And here's the bonnet we've made with you today, very beautiful and comfortable for the coldest winds and winters. But that's not all, I still need to show you how to tie a beautiful bow, as it's not an easy task. The simplest way is to tie it first and then put the bonnet on. But I think it's easier to tie it on yourself. The ties also look very stylish and beautiful without a bow, especially if you wear a pair of sunglasses, you'll be on the trend. Let me know in the comments how you plan to wear it, with a bow or without. So, how to tie a beautiful bow? One tie should be on top of the other. Start by making the first knot. For the tie that's on top, position your hand so that your thumb is pointing down. Grab the tie and twist it so your thumb is pointing up. The lower tie should stay beneath the first one. Pass it through the loop that forms in the center and tighten the bow. Adjust the sides and the bow is ready. To make a double bow, take one of the ties and thread it through the center of the bow. You can thread the second tie the same way into the center and the bow will be even more prettier. And here's what we got. So I hope you like this bonnet and this tutorial. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask them in the comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video and leave your comment. And I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye, kitties!